How's it going, YouTube? Yeah, Pat Mack here, coach of the Sacramento Sand Slash, bringing you our draft analysis of the UGA Season 3. This is a VGC league, and it was a tier system with some free points available. You can see there that there was an A pick, 2 Bs, 2 Cs, a D, and then we had 5 picks that use points on. There was actually an S tier for this draft as well. However, the only way to get Pokemon from that tier was to use your free points. And I believe the points were set up so that you could draft one Pokemon from S, A, B, C, and D, and that would spend all of your points perfectly. So just kind of keeping that in mind. We had a pick that was in the middle somewhere. I think we were like 9 or 10. I don't remember exactly where we were. So part of my game plan coming into this was that first off in the first round, just take whatever the best Pokemon is that I see on the board, and then look to build around it from there. And then kind of in addition to that, when you have or for me, my thought process is when I have a middle pick, that I tend to just draft Pokemon that I think are individually powerful, and then kind of look to see if I can build some synergies within those. And like, there are ways that you can make Pokemon work together that don't seem to have any synergy, so I wasn't too worried about that. I just wanted to have a strong team with a lot of options. Anyway, so let's go and take a look at our team. This is what we decided to draft. So you can see there that we have all of our A, Bs, Cs, and D tiers, of course. And then we actually drafted one from each tier. So Celesteela was an S tier, Hatterene G-Max was an A tier, Savali was a B tier, it was Lopunny as a C, and then Phalanx as a D. So that was where we drafted those Pokemon. And then let's talk a little bit about the order, because this graphic doesn't do a great job of showing the order that we pick Pokemon in. So I do want to kind of talk about that as well. So first Pokemon that I picked was Celesteela. Second Pokemon that I picked was Garchomp. And then the next one was Milotic. Now those three together was the core that I wanted to build as soon as I drafted Celesteela. Like, Celesteela I think works really, really well with a Garchomp. They can hit on different sides, right? Celesteela is just like the king of versatility. Like, that Pokemon just does whatever it wants to, and does it really well. And then Garchomp, just being a really heavy physical attacker, gave us a lot of power there. And then I also wanted to draft, kind of an add-on a little bit about Celesteela Garchomp is that they tend to cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. Like, of course, the Dragon types don't hit Celesteela as hard. Fairy types don't hit Celesteela very hard. Ice types, it's a little iffy, just because Celesteela doesn't resist ice, because it has that flying typing. However, then the weaknesses that Celesteela has in electric and fire, Garchomp absolutely crushes those types. So the two of them I think have pretty solid synergy together. And then I wanted to pair them up with Milotic, that I thought would be a pretty solid combination. It kind of filled in the gap between those two Pokemon really nicely. I think it actually fits almost perfectly in the middle, which is kind of cool. And then it's just a really powerful water type. A lot of different options, a lot of versatility. And then it kind of helps to deal with the kind of issues that Celesteela has trouble with in terms of fire types. It doesn't deal with the electric types, but that's where Garchomp comes in. And then it resists the ice types that could come after Garchomp. So we kind of deal with that pretty well. And then the the grass types that threaten Milotic, Celesteela absolutely crushes those. And the electric types, Garchomp deals with. So I think the three of them, just in terms of weaknesses and resistances and that kind of thing, I think those three Pokemon cover each other pretty well. So I'm really excited to use those, and that was my thought process around building those as my first 3 picks. Now after that, I decided to go with Crobat, and then I grabbed Pikachu, and then I grabbed Gourgeist. Now the reasoning behind those 3 picks after that, and actually Hatterene was the next one, so I'll kind of talk about that one too. So those 4 picks together gave me the speed control that the top 3 picks that I grabbed were kind of lacking. So Crobat enables us to have a very powerful fast mode, right? Inner focused, with Tailwind is absolutely fantastic. You just can't get hit by a fake out and lose the opportunity to set Tailwind. So very, very powerful and reliable Trick Room setter for us. So I was really happy to pick that Pokemon up. And then Pikachu gives us a little bit of like pace setting and pace control. Like that's one of the powerful parts about Fake Out, is that you get to control the pace of the game in terms of like who gets to attack when. Do they need to, like, can I force a Pokemon into maxing that wouldn't want to normally? And then it also has like Electroweb as well as I think it has. I'm not 100% sure if it has Area Impulse, but it does have Charm. So we can kind of like debuff and kind of go through those options as well. So like the two of those kind of enable a faster mode for us with Crobat and Pikachu that I really wanted to have on our team. And after picking Crobat, like the team was looking a little weak to Electric, like even though we have Garchomp, like Celesteela, Milotic, and Crobat like don't want to deal with Electric types. So having that Lightning Rod ability gives us a little bit more safety and kind of makes our opponents think a little bit more like, do I want to bring an Electric type attack and power up this Pikachu? That's right, I said that. You gotta be concerned about powering up the Pikachu. So definitely it's just something for them to think about, right? And it gives us some options in terms of, like I said, speed control, pace setting, that kind of thing. And then the other options that I grabbed right after that were Gourgeist and Hatterene. And that kind of like started and really gave us some really good options in terms of a slow mode. So both those Pokemon have Trick Room, right? So we can set the pace of the game by switching it if it looks like that's going to be a better situation for us by changing up those speeds with Trick Room. And I think the two of them work fairly well together. One's a physical attacker, one's a special attacker, and they kind of like have mixed typings. One thing I will say that's a little bit, I don't know, concerning isn't quite the right word, but like in general, Pokemon with Trick Room, almost all of them are weak to Ghost in some way, and most of them are weak to Dark as well. So I was happy to pick up Gmax Hatterene as a Pokemon that, like, even though it's weak to Ghost, right, which almost all of the Trick Room setters are, it's not weak to Dark, and it crushes Dark types. And then we can, of course, like hit Ghost types with Gourgeist, right? They can hit each other, kind of thing. So I liked having the two of those as options. So like a Dark type just can't sit in front of our Trick Room setter and deny us Trick Room. So I'm glad to have those two as options. And then of course, like Hatterene is just an amazingly powerful mon in terms of its Gmax Smite attack, which is just forces switches, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm very happy to have picked that up. Now the rest of the picks were kind of just like a combination of filling out typings, giving me some more options, filling in speed tiers. I think I grabbed Centiskorch, then I grabbed Phalanx, then Lopunny, then Silvally. And I had my eye on Lopunny kind of from the beginning. I just didn't think anyone would take it, which I was happy to pick it up later. But I had been using Baniri in the Feisty Friends League, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely go check it out. I absolutely loved using Baniri. So I wanted to try out Lopunny, the evolved version, for the big kids league. And so I think it's got some really cool options. I loved using like Switcheroo, and it has Fake Out and Thunder Wave, and like it's got a fairly, or at least Baniri had a good attack stat in terms of Little Cup, but I don't think Lopunny does. It's like it's so. It's mostly going to be there for it to support and like be a disruptive force in the game. It works similarly in terms of Pikachu, in terms of being a disruptive force for my opponents, right? It sets the pace of the game. I think it might have like Charm and stuff like that too. So I think it's a really solid Pokemon. I'm really happy to have grabbed that one. And then I also grabbed kind of Silvally along with it, because I felt like even though we had pieces for a fast mode with Crobat and Garchomp, we are kind of lacking a little bit in terms of having some more speed. So even though Silvally isn't the fastest Pokemon in the world, it has like solid stats across the board, and it does have like flying coverage, so it can like be a max target with airstreams and stuff like that, as well as just being like very versatile with like Parting Shot and Snarl, and so it has a mixture of like very offensive sets and very defensive sets. Versatility, absolutely love it. So that's part of the reason we picked that one up too. And then like Centiskorch and Phalanx, I don't think I talked about them very much, but they helped us to have like kind of those mid speed tiers to kind of fill in some of the gaps that we were having, as well as like being Pokemon that can work like with Tailwind. Like they're not too slow that they can't work with Tailwind, but they're also not too fast that they can't work in Trick Room. So I was pretty happy to have picked both of them up, and to be able to use them for this season. So that's kind of the order and kind of the thought process in terms of picking up Pokemon. There's a handful of things I didn't talk about in terms of just like a general why I kind of like the team in terms of a VGC standpoint, and a little bit of like what's lacking potentially. So one thing that I was thinking about in terms of drafting was because I grabbed Garchomp and Celesteela pretty early, both of those Pokemon hit very hard, and I wanted to make sure that I had options to discourage debuff. Intimidate is an amazing ability in VGC, and so I wanted to make sure that I had options to deal with that, right? So that was part of the thinking behind Milotic and Centiskorch and Phalanx. Milotic having competitive, Phalanx having Defiant, and then Centiskorch having White Smoke to avoid the stat reduction. So having all of those as options I thought was a pretty good thing to have on a VGC team, just in a general sense, so that you can kind of make your opponent's second guess if they want to bring their Intimidator, if they want to bring their Snarl, if they want to bring their Parting Shot, right? Just because like it's a very common strategy to debuff your opponent's Pokemon in VGC. So I wanted to make sure that I had those options. And then I talked a little bit about the speed control stuff, so just to kind of echo that idea of like, I think it's very important to have speed control, and we have speed control in a lot of different Pokemon, right? I think maybe not all of them. I'm not sure if Garchomp has a way necessarily to deal with speed control, but like it doesn't need to. It's a Garchomp, like the thing's just trying to hit hard. But we have like Icy Wind on several Pokemon with Milotic and Savali. We have Electro Web on Pikachu, we have Thunder Wave and stuff on Lopunny, and then the Tailwind, of course, with Crobat, and the Trick Room options with Hatterene and Gourgeist. So having all of those as options, I think, is a pretty good like place to be in terms of having a team. And then another part that, because this is a max league, like you got to make sure you have good max targets. In my opinion, some of the best max moves are the ones that can change your stats. So like Max Quake, Max Steel Spike, and Max Airstream, in my opinion, are the straight up the best 3 max moves. The other ones, like, I'm not taking anything away from them, they're just not as good. Like those 3, being able to make sure that you can take more hits and making sure that you have speed control are so important. So we have Celesteela, that's a great max target for that reason. Garchomp is a pretty good max target in that regard too. Having Max Quake as well as the Max Dragon attack can reduce their attack, so it kind of works similarly to like Max Steel Spike, but debuffs them instead of increases our stats. And then Celesteela is a great max target, right? Its stabs are 2 of the what I consider the best max moves. So I'm pretty happy to have those as options, as well as the G-Max options we have. Like Centiskorch being able to trap things would be kind of nice. The Hatterene being able to kind of force switches or kind of make sure that they have that confusion or be concerned about it. And then you know what? I might be able to max G-Max Pikachu this season. I had it during the second season, and I don't think I ever maxed it during that season. However, I would love to max it this season. That would be so cool. So maybe we'll have G-Max Pikachu maxing and dealing some of those paralysis across their team as another form of speed control. So pretty excited about the different options that we have for the team, just in terms of max options, speed control, buffing and debuffing, as well as just in general, like our stat distributions and speed distributions, like all of it's great. Very excited for the team this season. I also want to kind of talk about the upload schedule. So this is coming out on Thursday. You can expect our battles for this league to come up on Thursday. I'm setting that schedule myself. This is not an upload required league. However, there are several content creators in the Alola division as well as the other divisions. UGA is a very big league. If you're coming from somewhere else and checking us out, if you haven't heard of them, like, and you're into VGC, like, go check them out. Like, I'm sure I can add a Discord link in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description. So if you'd like to check out and kind of watch how the season's going and check out all the content that's being created for this league, it is massive. I think there's like somewhere around 100 coaches split into like 5 or 6 divisions of 16 or something like that. It's a lot of people. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of people there, a lot of content to watch, so definitely go check it out. Yeah, definitely. So if you'd like to see some more of our content and like to see how we do this season, let me know in the comments what you like about the team, or maybe give me some a little criticism. Like I'm down to hear about like what we like about the team, what we don't like about the team, and all that stuff. So let me know in the comments. Absolutely love reading them. If you're not already subscribed, definitely subscribe, check us out, and you can see some more of our content. I do VGC as well as singles content, all draft league stuff here, so definitely stick around, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one.